getting set to say Namaskara Shivaramaiah. Shivakumar, Siddaramaiah, the deadly duo, ironing out their differences. Both have now reached the Karnataka Pradesh Congress Committee headquarters, and in a short while from now, at the Congress Legislature Party meeting, Siddaramaiah will be appointed the 23rd Chief Minister of Karnataka, and his deputy will be the Vokaliga strongman DK Shivakumar, and that is my live continuing focus on the Newstrack.
Namaskara Shivaramaiah Sarkara. Celebrations erupt across Karnataka. Siddu dons Kirita. Shivakumar must wait 2 years. Will Siddu vacate chair for DK in 2025? Big focus on Newstrack.
We'll be tracking all the live developments in Bengaluru. Let's get started. Here are the headlines I'm tracking tonight. Suspense over, celebrations begin in Karnataka. Siddaramaiah and DK Shivakumar receive a hero's welcome in Bengaluru. They will officially be sworn in on Saturday. Congress begins mission opposition unity. Invites Mamata Banerjee, Sharad Pawar, Nitish Kumar and many others for the Karnataka swearing in. Kejriwal has so far not been called. Supreme Court overturns West Bengal government's ban on the Kerala story. Tamil Nadu government asked to secure theatres screening the film. Supreme Court bench, including the Chief Justice, will watch the Kerala story as well. Big Modi cabinet rejig. Kiran Rijiju loses the Plum Law Ministry amid the collegium tussle. Arjun Megwal made the Minister of State with independent charge for law and justice. Massive win for the Jallikat Festival. Supreme Court upholds validity of the bull taming sport, says cultural heritage cannot be part of judicial inquiry. Karnataka is getting set to say Namaskara to the Shivaramaiah Sarkara. After 100 hours of suspense, twists and turns, Siddaramaiah and Shivakumar have been named the Chief Minister and Deputy Chief Minister of Karnataka. The formula that India Today has been talking about for the last 72 hours is the formula which was put in place. The swearing in will take place Saturday. It's expected to be a star-studded event. Invites have been sent out to a galaxy of opposition leaders who are expected to come to Bengaluru to celebrate this big opposition victory. I want to go across now to my colleague Nabila Jamal. She is at the Karnataka Pradesh Congress Committee headquarters, where Siddaramaiah and Shivakumar have now reached. Nabila, when does this Congress Legislature Party meeting start? And try and capture for our viewers some of the colour, the festivity and the celebrations that you're seeing around you.
Well, I think a lot of them have dispersed to see Siddaramaiah, who's just arrived, but he's certainly a true favourite here. Siddaramaiah supporters and DK Shivakumar, all of them are now unanimously saying that they're happy with what the Congress High Command has said. Are you happy with the Congress's High Command?
I am happy, madam.
Happy.
I am happy. I am happy.
You want separate I should tell you that there are Dalits who are slightly upset that they haven't been represented with a deputy chief minister. Lingayats are also quite upset that they are not being represented. Muslims on the other hand. But it seems like the Congress High Command has decided there's only one deputy, and that's DK Shivakumar, one chief minister, a Kuruba leader, who is Siddaramaiah. These are the visuals here at the KPCC office, which isn't usually so lit up. But today we see almost like a wedding-like atmosphere here, Rahul. And today the CLP meeting, it's going to be a formal officiating the chief minister's candidate. That is Siddaramaiah. All the CLP leaders, the members of the CLP, the MLAs are going to be signing on a piece of paper agreeing unanimously that their chief minister is Siddaramaiah. Their deputy is DK Shivakumar. A quick look at right outside the KPCC office, a very interesting flexes. Huge life-size portraits of DK Shivakumar alone. And these were erected today. No picture of Siddaramaiah that I see here all along the KPCC office, understandably, because he is the KPCC president, but we're also looking at Siddaramaiah as the chief minister. He's already been named, but we don't see flexes as big and as grand as DK Shivakumar's right here along the KPCC office. Visuals are here.
Fishing in troubled waters there, trying to draw a comparison between Shivkumar's tall flexes and Siddaramaiah's flexes not being there. I think there'll be a lot of that, especially given the kind of posturing we've seen on the part of these two leaders over the last few days. Nagarjun Dwarkanath, our Karnataka bureau chief, is live with me tonight. Nagarjun, what specifically is the power sharing formula? Because there is no public announcement of a 2.5 year split. So how does Shivakumar know that Siddaramaiah will make way for him when Ashok Gehlot later simply refused to accept that anything of the sort had been discussed? That would be something which would be of immense concern to Shivakumar.
Well, that's a point of concern for the DK Shivakumar camp and his MLAs as well. But what we are told is the Gandhis and the Congress High Command themselves have promised, saying that leave it to us. We will make sure that the rotational CM will be taken care. We will not go public because it would be undermining the present chief minister. And that's the reason it's an internal pact and not public. DK Shivakumar also has agreed because the intervention of the Gandhis. He himself spoke to Sonia Gandhi, is what we are told, over FaceTime from his phone. It was a video call, is what we are told. And also he sought two plum portfolios, Bangalore Development Ministry as well as Water Resource Ministry. These are two big portfolios. If he gets, he will be the in-charge minister for the Bangalore city. So all the civic mess, the infrastructure in Bangalore, he'll have to take care of it, starting from when the portfolio is allotted. And also the irrigation projects, the central government itself has allotted 5,000 crores in Upper Barda project in the irrigation for irrigation work. So he wants these two portfolios, is what we are told. Tomorrow, once again, Siddaramaiah and DK are coming to Delhi to meet the High Command and get the portfolio sorted out, so that along with them, 20 other ministers can take oath on Saturday.
Nagarjun, Rajdeep Sardesai joins me. Rajdeep, this power sharing formula that we've been putting out on India Today, what's the guarantee that Siddaramaiah will abide by it? In Rajasthan, we saw Gehlot later just pretended that there was no such thing.
Well, my sense is that Mr. Siddaramaiah, while no politician ever retires, is actually building himself to handing over his political legacy to his son, Yatindra, who, remember, last time contested from Varuna, where Siddaramaiah won this time, and all reports indicate was very keen to contest this time. And what was told in the meeting yesterday was a guarantee that if Mr. Siddaramaiah does step down, abides by some kind of rotational chief ministership 2 or 2.5 years down the line, Yatindra will replace him, will become, in a way, carry forward the Siddaramaiah legacy. So Mr. Siddaramaiah at the moment appears to be into legacy building. This is not just about the kursi for Siddaramaiah. He wants to establish himself like Devraj Ars as one of the great chief ministers of Karnataka, and thinks that these pro-poor guarantees that the Congress is promising, if he can deliver on that in the next 2 years, that...
Does he have 2? Does he have 2.5? Does he have 3? Or nobody really knows?
There is, some are saying 2.5, others are saying 2 and 3. So we are not clear whether...
What are you saying?
My sense is it would seem 2.5 seems to make sense.
My sense is nobody gives up once they're on the chair.
Nobody gives up once they're on the chair, Rahul, is a fair point, and we've seen that in politics. We've seen it in Karnataka. You remember H.D. Kumaraswamy, Yediyurappa had a similar deal. The moment Mr. Kumaraswamy's 2 years were over, he refused to give it over, and eventually the government fell. Yes, that's a risk, but I think Mr. Shivakumar also was not dealing with too many aces in his hand. Yes, we in the media saw him as a leader who was challenging in a way Mr. Siddaramaiah, but there's a pretty much a difference in terms of their mass leadership credentials. Where Mr. Shivakumar has an advantage, let's say over a Mr. Pilot or T.S. Singhdeo, he has complete control over the organization. And therefore, I think it will be not possible to allow him to be completely rejected or marginalized. And I think Mr. Shivakumar also recognizes that, the Congress leadership does. And you know, his supporters tell me he has a very special relationship with Sonia Gandhi, and she has assured him that he will be made chief minister.
She said the same thing to Sachin Pilot. Well,
did she say it, or did
Sachin Pilot say she did?
Yeah, well, you know, as I said, I think the difference is the huge generational gap between Mr. Pilot and Mr. Gehlot. And Mr. Gehlot was keen on staying on for an extended period. I get the sense from speaking to Mr. Siddaramaiah over the last month or so, he genuinely sees this as his last election.
5 years, there's a difference. The difference is
in an
last
ideal
election
world, yes,
for sure, but he wants to stay for 5 years. He's not.
Rahul, much depends on what happens in Lok Sabha next year.
Why? In what way do you think?
You see, in the Lok Sabha next year, let's assume that the BJP is able to sweep
20,
Karnataka.
22, 23, 24.
Then you see Siddaramaiah's position in a strange way weakens, because you're swept aside. If on the other hand a strong performance by Mr. Siddaramaiah by the Congress party, then we'll see how it plays out between the two. So I think the Lok Sabha elections of next year will be critical. My own sense is I think these two leaders will eventually be able to work out some kind of an arrangement. They could do it for the elections. They can do it in government. Look, in Karnataka...
No, but can they work together after how much they've postured against each other?
Not
how
easy.
Possible is it for them to work together because they've taken strong positions? Can Siddaramaiah trust his deputy?
Not easy, Rahul, but I do believe that in general we've seen politicians from states like Karnataka very pragmatic. They look at immediate benefits. They're not looking at the long term. The next 2 years are critical for them.
Shivakumar has to return the money to all those he's taken the money from.
That's a very direct question, which and put very interestingly. I don't know whether he has to return any money. What is very clear is the Congress sees Karnataka as a critical state for them to build some kind of a resource base to fight election. There's an election in 5 months.
Because elections aren't fought with love and fresh air.
No,
the reality.
Rahul, 5 months from now, there's a big election in Telangana, neighboring state to Karnataka. Telangana is also a state that requires a huge amount of money to fight. Now you need therefore someone like Mr. Shivakumar to get himself once again involved in that kind of an election where he will be able to raise the resources needed to fight an election in Telangana. That's his role. You need Siddaramaiah as your face.
So if the Congress does better, because the BJP is hoping to win Telangana next time, the TRS hopes to retain the state. If the Congress does better than it has in the recent past, to whose advantage or disadvantage is it? Because the Congress will most likely pull away some of the TRS vote, where the Congress's role could end up like the JDS in this election, where the better the Congress does, the more advantage it is to the BJP.
Rahul, let me put it this way. I think you need a Siddaramaiah or a Siddaramaiah-like figure to attract that pro-poor vote. One of the things the Congress got this time in Karnataka that they've lost to Mr. Modi and the BJP in other states is the pro-poor, backward Dalit coalition. That's where Siddaramaiah makes a difference. The Congress also needs organization, booth management, resources which Shivakumar provided. You need both of them. I think the Congress has realized that. This is one of those states where you cannot function. This is going to be a real test of both the individuals concerned and the Congress's ability to manage them. The likes of Mallikarjun Kharge, Randeep Singh Surjewala will be tested. And it's not just these two. There are lots of other leaders. We've heard the likes of G. Parmeshwara saying, why can't I be Deputy Chief Minister? MB Patil says, Lingayats have been represented so in such large numbers, I should also get a chance. So managing all of this is going to be a big challenge. Plus, when you get so many seats, expectations are higher. So the real challenge for the Congress starts now. And because 2024 is only 10 months away, that's the first big battle. I just spoke to someone close to Shivakumar. He said, we've been told very clearly, focus now on how can we improve our performance across southern India in 2024. That is the responsibility that Shivakumar has been given in a way.
At least the good thing is the Congress for once is taking elections seriously, not thinking about power as being poison and wanting to fight and contest, which makes things more exciting for people like Rajdeep and me. Thanks Rajdeep for joining us. I want to go across to other guests on the show. We've got Nalin Kohli from the Bharatiya Janata Party. We've got Dr. Syed Nasir Hussain from the Congress. We've got Sandeep Shastri, coordinator at Lokniti. Ramkrishna Upadhyay joins us. And Mahima Singh is with us from the Congress Party. I want to go across to Nalin Kohli first, because Nalin, what is the lesson the Bharatiya Janata Party has learned? I know that there have been lots of deliberations in small unorganized groups, in more structured ways, that the BJP has been having about the lessons from the Karnataka debacle. What is the key takeaway? What will the party try and do differently in Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Chhattisgarh, Telangana and Mizoram, which will ensure that what happened in Karnataka doesn't get repeated in the next set of assembly elections? Nalin?
Hello.
Okay. Rahul Srivastav is also with us, our National Affairs Editor. Rahul, this conversation that we were just having with Rajdeep about the ability of Shivakumar and Siddaramaiah to now work together, given all that they've said over the past 4 days against each other, not directly but quite indirectly, but very clear that there are two different camps. Now those two camps come to a cabinet meeting. Will they be practical and be able to work, or will this ultimately become Sachin Gehlot 2.0 and it's only a question of when, not if?
Rahul, I think it will depend on these two men. Over the last 3 days, I think they have sent across a message down till their last denominator, their cadres and supporters, that there is a bit of a competition between them. Now, that cadre and the leaders, will they be competing in the coming days? Will they hold constant show of strength against each other? Will they try to undermine each other? All that they have to decide and then send across a message to their cadres. Today, for example, Mr. DK Shivakumar's soundbite after the compromise formula was reached, and his body language wasn't actually sending a message that he's happy. His brother and several other senior leaders were saying that they are not very happy. I think that needs to be corrected. Once that is corrected, they need to work together and show to the cadres they are working together. Lok Sabha, as I have been saying, that will be a real test, because the BJP has been doing very well, even when the BJP was not voted in the assembly. And if the BJP does well again, who takes the blame for it? So what we are talking about 2 years later may arrive much earlier. I think eventually the Congress has taken a big risk, because why I say that, it has not succeeded. This rotational element doesn't work, Rahul. The only last time I saw it working was when the PDP and the Congress were sharing power in Kashmir, and Ghulam Nabi Azad became Chief Minister in 2005. Otherwise, it has not. Even if you see 2011 in Jammu Kashmir, the same state, Omar Abdullah was not ready for a rotational element. The congressmen have not been ready. I think to expect that Mr. Siddaramaiah will do a Garibaldi, pack his bags and leave the Chief Minister's office 2 years, I think then he will be known as a statesman in Congress politics, not a politician.
Nobody leaves the chair. Once they are sitting on the chair, they typically don't leave the chair. Will Siddaramaiah follow the same pattern? Will he be different? We will find out. I want to go across to Nalin Kohli from the Bharatiya Janata Party. It's been a very long time since the BJP has been edged out of the screen, and we've had Congress leaders take over for 4 straight days, and this is not something the modern day BJP is used to, and this is not something the modern day Congress is used to either. Nalin, welcome. What lesson has the Bharatiya Janata Party learned from the debacle of Karnataka? These results are far from what you would have expected or wanted or hoped for. What's the key lesson that you've learned, which you will try and implement to ensure that what happened in Bengaluru doesn't get repeated in Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Chhattisgarh, Mizoram and Telangana?
So, thank you, Rahul, for that. We've been around a long time. You and I have been for several years on this side of the screen and that side of the screen. And I think one thing you or Rahul on your panel would appreciate, the BJP has always learned from its defeats. For us, if we have lost an election and if the people have voted for it, we respect that mandate. We accept that mandate because it's a democracy and people ultimately decide who will manage the government or run the government for the next period of time for which they vote. So therefore, that is something with humility we accept. But I think as a party, we always learn from our mistakes. And that's why the BJP is so formidable in being able to reach out to the people and so fortunate to get the blessings of the people in so many elections at every level, from the local to the state to the national. Now coming to the next issue, that if you look at the election results of Karnataka in its early days, it's fascinating to note that the BJP vote percentage broadly is almost identical to last time. There's a very small percentage difference. Secondly, during the election itself, when we were seeing opinion polls, it seemed to indicate that the leadership issue of Prime Minister Modi was substantially getting even over 8 to 10% over what was being projected as the vote for the state. So I think there are two less important messages here at the first instance. A, while the BJP's vote share has been good, the change of the vote dynamics on the other side, consolidation for the Congress and the collapse of other players, has worked against the BJP. But this also is a very good message that in terms of people saying that our government was terrible and the vote share and that the BJP would be ousted, the numbers are certainly against us, but the vote share doesn't speak the same language. And any psephologist would accept that. The third is, where it remains on Prime Minister Modi and his popularity, that's intact at a record high. There's no one there. Now let's come to the state elections. Again, we've all been there long enough. To extrapolate one state result to another is dangerous. And if we have to go by that, then let's begin the year with the 3 state results where the BJP has done spectacularly well. Repeated itself in Tripura, in Meghalaya, retained the 2 seats and still in government. And in Nagaland, where I was the in charge of Prabhari, we have stayed with our 12 and continue in the government of Chief Minister Rio. Now, if we use that result, then would you say that the BJP nationally is changing and the Congress, which was down and out, getting 0 for the second time in Nagaland, getting 3 seats or 5 seats in Tripura, essentially, how do you read it? So state after state has a different story. So I would say that Karnataka is our loss. We will learn from it. If the Congress is hoping that this is the future for every election that follows, then they perhaps have a nice lesson to learn from Rajasthan, where the power arrangement has actually been a Mahabharat from day one between the 2 leaders.
So let me put that question to Mahima Singh.
To be believed, literally a Mahabharat between the supporters of the 2 leaders.
Sorted out the Mahabharat in Karnataka for the time being. Shivakumar and Siddaramaiah have agreed to work together at this moment. How do you hope to sort out the problem in Rajasthan, where Ashok Gehlot and Sachin Pilot's differences are getting deeper by the passing day? They're making more and more comments against each other. How do you hope to resolve that?
Good evening all. लहर दहलीज पर आई है जब से समंदर खौफ खाने लग गया है. You see, today as we stand united in Karnataka to stand up and to govern the state of Karnataka, the 6.5 crore Kannadigas, with utmost commitment and transparency. You ask me about the Mahabharata, which to us, it doesn't exist, it has never existed. And if you were to talk about Rajasthan on a debate about Karnataka, then let's also talk about Manipur, please. And then and if the BJP is to talk about on whose face the South Gate has been slammed and hard, let us also talk about the vote share, which has declined in the northeastern states. Nagaland, the BJP spokesperson was just talking about Nagaland. Let me say that their vote share has declined. Himachal Pradesh, they kept on saying that the gap is 0.9%. Let
it's wrong. 1 minute, sorry, I must correct that. You're way off, Mahima ji. Sorry, I don't interrupt, but that's an incorrect statement. Our vote share has gone up by 3%. No, it's not about
he was actually involved in some of these northeastern elections.
You are entitled to your views, but not in
allow the Congress to at least.
Nalin was involved in some of those elections in the northeast.
I was there for a month.
Not some, 4 of them. 3% it's gone up.
For a month.
You're wrong, ma'am. You're wrong.
Very well aware.
Google just now and check. Sorry, ma'am, you're wrong.
Complete my thought.
Sorry, ma'am, you're not well aware. You're wrong. Check it. No, you get your facts right. Everything else is okay. You can have a view, but not an incorrect fact against me.
Is this how we conduct
Of course, but you can't, madam, come up with the wrong fact.
Okay. I can't have both guests speaking at the same time. Nalin, you made that interjection. Nalin, you made that interjection. Just leave it over there for the time being.
Of course, I made it, but it's an incorrect fact. That's all.
Please allow
I'm
me
not
to
objecting
complete
to
my
her.
point.
Let
I
Mahima
never
complete.
intervened.
Let Mahima complete.
Of course.
Sir, you are much more seasoned and a veteran. I expect that discipline and regard from
No,
you
ma'am,
at least
you have your right. Please
for
go.
a co-spokesperson. I never interjected, sir. Let me say that I was in Nagaland, day in, day out, we kept challenging, our senior leaders kept challenging the BJP for a debate on UCC.
No, can I just tell our viewers, I just checked this on our data intelligence dashboard. The BJP vote share in Nagaland has gone up. Between 2018 to now, the BJP vote share has gone up in Nagaland. So what you're saying is not factually correct. Okay, one second.
He just said Tripura. He just said Tripura.
You said Nagaland.
I am saying even Nagaland. I mean,
Madam, do your research, please. Okay, one second. I just checked. What you're making this point with so much bombast. What you're saying is not even factually correct. Just turn this down. I want to go. You said Nagaland. The point that you're making, Mahima, just do your research. Prepare harder. Okay, if you're going to come to India today, you want to be on the Newstrack, prepare harder. Your facts are wrong. I want to go across to Nasir Hussain. Nasir Hussain is very close to Mallikarjun Kharge, Member of Parliament of the Rajya Sabha, and he's been involved in all of the pictures that you see at Khargeji's house. You see Nasir Hussain welcoming leaders. In some he's looking happy, in some he's looking a little concerned and anxious. How difficult was it, Nasir bhai, to try and get Shivakumar and Siddaramaiah on the same page? Were you concerned at some point in time in the past 72 hours that maybe you may be able to create some kind of peace, or were you worried ki gadbad to nahi ho jayegi, can things go wrong after a big victory?
Rahul, I think there was no issue at all. What was being shown on television channels and what was actually happening, there were lots of difference. See, we had such a big victory. There are people, those have worked very hard for the past 2 years. Those have put up a brave front, they fought the BJP, they fought the government, they set up a narrative and all.
Nasir bhai, don't give me spin. Nasir bhai, don't give me a spin. Tell me the truth. Listen, 1 second. In the manner in which Shivakumar and Siddaramaiah were both wrangling for power, it was visible to anybody from the outside that there was serious tension. What was going on in the Kharge camp at that time? Were you concerned that this could get out of hand?
Rahul, not concerned at all, because we know both of them very well. Both of them are true party workers. Both of them led from the front. We were not at all worried. See, there's nothing wrong in somebody having an ambition, somebody having aspiration, somebody want to become chief minister. There's nothing wrong in that. But then finally, one has to become the chief minister. There is Mr. Mallikarjun Kharge, who is one of the senior most leaders of Karnataka, who is now the head of AICC. You have Mr. Rahul Gandhi, Mrs. Sonia Gandhi, who are all there around. They knew everyone. So it was only, so how do we make whom? See, when two equally important, equally powerful and equally eligible people are there, then it's difficult to make a choice. But then opinions of CL, all the newly elected MLAs were taken, the opinions of senior leaders from Karnataka, opinions from senior leaders in the AICC was taken. And I think yesterday, late night, Mr. Khargeji was able to arrive at a consensus, and then CM and Deputy CM.
So does Siddaramaiah get 2 years? Does he get 2.5 years?
Very peaceful it was done.
Does Siddaramaiah get 2 years or 2.5 years?
See, it is as simple as it is. The decision is Mr. Siddaramaiah is the Chief Minister, Mr. DK Shivakumar is the Deputy Chief Minister. He'll continue to be the PCC President, and both of them will govern the state in a consultative manner.
But you're not telling me anything I don't know. Nasir bhai, tell me some stuff our viewers don't know. This is a very official kind of Nasir Hussain that showed up. I was thinking you'll give us more inside information.
This is the decision. Nothing. See,
so Shivakumar has been made no promise.
Rahul, this
so
is
no
the
promise
decision.
has been made to Shivakumar that he will not be Chief Minister.
See, I don't know. I don't know what transpired between him and Mr. Mallikarjun Khargeji and what transpired between him and Mr. Rahul Gandhiji. But the fact remains is that one is CM, one is Deputy CM, and what the other one continues to be the PCC President. That is the decision. There's no ifs and buts. There's no decision beyond this.
Now,
and both of them will have to work together to see that we get a large number of seats in 2024.
You are telling both Gehlot and Sachin to work together. Neither is working with each other. They are both attacking each other. What's the guarantee this friction or this pressure, this energy between Siddaramaiah and Shivakumar won't become Sachin and Gehlot again?
You had to wait for that and see, Rahul. You have to wait for that and see. Both of them have been working for the party. They have raised issues. They have won such a beautiful mandate. They will work together. You have to wait and see. You cannot have. See, that is the reason why I'm not telling whether it is 2 years or 3 years or 2.5 years, because this 2.5 years formula has failed. It has failed in earlier states. So there's no need to again discuss that one. So for the time being, this is the decision. As and when things develop in the state, if there is a need to take some further decision, that will be taken in the days or the years to come.
Okay, since you are so close to Mr. Kharge, can you tell me what do you intend to do or hope to do in the case of Sachin Pilot and Gehlot in Rajasthan? It's getting quite embarrassing for your party. They're both attacking each other in public almost every day.
See, I'll tell you, in any state where there are groups, where there are people working against the party interest, or working in a way which is not in the interest of the party, I think the party will have to finally sit down, and we have given them enough time to settle among themselves. We try to talk to both of them and see that something has to be done. Now, if it is not working done, then I think the AICC has to take a decision.
No, but obviously the AICC has to take a decision, but what can that decision be?
No, that will let you know once the decision is taken in the days to come.
But do you think it's inevitable that Sachin Pilot will leave your party? He's given you a 15-day ultimatum. There's no way that you can fulfill his wish. That essentially lead us to believe that Sachin Pilot is on his way out. He'll probably be setting up some kind of a third front.
See, we would like to have everyone in the party. We want Sachin Pilot ji to be there in the party. We want Ashok Gehlot ji to run the show there. We want everything to be there in the place. We want to get back to power again in 2023. But then if there are certain things on which we have to take a decision, I think now we are free from Karnataka, and our senior leadership at the center, the High Command has started pondering over the next election going states, that is 5 states, and also the situation there. In next week or so, we will be having meetings on these 5 states, and then if there are decisions to be taken, we'll take the decisions.
I'm just trying to understand what you said, because from what I hear you say the election will be fought under Gehlot's leadership. That obviously means that it won't be under Sachin's leadership. That's a big cop-out from Sachin's perspective. So then it's kind of inevitable that at some point in time he might leave.
Rahul, see, the AICC leadership is there. They are meeting on all the 5 states. In 1 or 2 states, there could be issues that need to be sorted out. And then the AICC will have to take a call as to what has to be done. And now, since we are now free from Karnataka, we have won this state. We want this winning streak to continue in other states also. 5 states are also important for us. This will be a sort of an mini election before we get into 2024 election, parliament election. So we will deal strictly with these 5 states. We will have meetings with all the stakeholders in the state, and wherever we need to do course correction, we'll do course correction. Wherever we need to do, wherever we need to take some serious decisions, we'll take some serious decisions.
Okay, Nasir Hussain, it's been, you're saying it wasn't stressful, but I can tell our viewers it was mighty stressful the past 72 hours for people like Nasir and others who are part of Mr. Kharge's core team. They've finally been, to their credit, able to resolve this fight, at least for the time being. Now, whether it stays that way or changes, we will have to wait and see. Nasir Hussain, for joining me, thank you very much. I want to go across Sandeep Shastri and Ramakrishna Upadhyay, part of the famous duo that was a part of the India Today post-poll election analysis team. Dr. Shastri, this was amongst the things that you said, 1 + 1 + 1, when you came on India Today. It's almost as if they have copied and pasted and applied your formula. So he gets to be Deputy CM, is the only Deputy CM. He gets plum portfolios, and he gets to be KPCC Chief. So they basically, that just shows the power of Sandeep Shastri, that the ultimate formula is the one that you'd suggested.
Thank you, Rahul, for saying that. I think as part of the discussion and as an independent political commentator who looks at how things develop, when DK raised his stakes and said 5 years or nothing, it was very clear that that was a bargaining chip he was using to finally get what he was aiming at. And that's the context I said 1 + 1 + 1. Only Deputy Chief Minister, key portfolios, and KPCC presidentship till the next Lok Sabha election. And that's what has been announced today. And that is a formula which sees both having accepted. Again, if you look at the photographs that are emerging, I think DK Shivakumar seems to be much more cheerful in terms of having wrested what he wanted. May not be the ultimate thing, though Mr. Siddaramaiah seems very serious, maybe that's his nature. But if you look at the optics of the two leaders, especially the scenes that you are showing alongside, it's very clear that Shivakumar was aware that he may not get the chief ministership and accepted or bargained for what ultimately happened. But now it will be interesting to see how this government works, because they have an election the next year. And I'm sure both have been told that we cannot have a repeat of 2019 in Karnataka, that they are depending on Karnataka for a lot of seats. And I think...
No, but what's your sense at this moment as a top psephologist? What's your best sense of what Karnataka could look like in the Lok Sabha elections of 2024? You've seen the split verdict in the C voter data when they ask who do you want as PM. The BJP's vote share goes up, the Congress's vote share goes down. So if things were to pan out in the way that you see it, what could the potential seat share from Karnataka look like for both top parties?
Rahul, even in the studies that Lokniti has done, there is a similar trend that when you look at the Lok Sabha election, the BJP's vote share goes up. What the Congress would be hoping is 1 year of governance in Karnataka would demonstrate the fulfillment of promises and would, in a Lok Sabha election, help the Congress. Now, that's going to be a huge expectation, because in the Lok Sabha election, Prime Minister Modi is going to be in the forefront of the campaign. And let's remember last time around in 2019, the acceptance rate of Siddaramaiah's government in 2019 was 90%. And still, the Congress was not able to get a majority of seats.
Now, Nalin Kohli, does this concern you that the Prime Minister staked so much of his personal prestige when he campaigned in Karnataka, that at some level, this aura of invincibility that the Prime Minister carried, that he could come in and do a Rinku Singh, come in and hit lots of balls out of the park, help the BJP win from a hopeless situation, that aura of invincibility is shattered. While the BJP may still believe it, the opposition now starts to think that, hey, Modi is not a demigod. We can, if we get our act together, take on the BJP. This is not impossible. So this rampaging Ashwamedh Yag, this idea that the BJP would just win and the Congress would just capitulate, now the congressmen don't seem to buy it. And those who support the Congress ideology too think, okay, maybe we can beat the BJP.
Lots of metaphors in that, Rahul. Ashwamedh Yag and all that. So I'll compliment you for the way you phrased it. But coming back to the core or the substance of what your query was, I don't agree with that. And for several reasons. How has Prime Minister Modi's popularity gone down? The visuals are there for you to see. I'm sure your channel covered it as much as others. Number two, Prime Minister, this was not an election on him. This same question will be relevant for someone, and I believe not the BJP, in 2024, in May. Then third is what I said at the beginning of the program, that Prime Minister Modi, if you have to judge his popularity, how come the vote share hasn't fallen? So it raises a question that the vote share, if normal conventional psephology would say, if a government is not performing well, people are angry with the government, then how is the vote share remaining identical? So therefore, I have a counter narrative to this that shows that the BJP has held ground not as expected or as being projected by others. Number two, the vote dynamics has changed in Karnataka between the JDU, JDS, other players, and the Congress, which has gained from that dynamic. So it's taken them to a very, very clear and good mandate for them. Now they have to perform. With every mandate, winning the mandate is easy. Retaining the mandate is difficult, and I think Prime Minister Modi has shown he got a historic mandate in 14 and he got an equally historic in 19. Not just retained, but bettered it. So I think we will fight on our report card, and I do believe that if the Congress and other parties wish to begin their early celebrations for 2024, honestly, I would welcome that.
Okay.
So that they can keep congratulating themselves while the BJP, its Karyakarta and leaders are doing the work as they always do.
Now, Ramakrishna Upadhyay, your best sense of whether this Shivaramaiah duo, Shivakumar and Siddaramaiah, can work together in the next 5 years? So do you think it's only a matter of time before this becomes Sachin Gehlot Redux?
Rahul, thank you for coming to me at last. I've been waiting patiently. I was carefully watching what Nasir Hussain was saying. I mean, he was totally evasive about this formula of power sharing. And I believe that, it is not written in stone and probably is not going to work, because Siddaramaiah was very, very particular that he is not going to share power and he wants 5 years term. And in fact, he made it very clear that during the campaign, people wanted him to be the chief minister. And his point is, he is the man who has been elected by the people. And he's not going to share power with with the Shivakumar. So that is point number one. Number two, there is a trust deficit between the two, which you have noticed in 2013 also. When Siddaramaiah took over as chief minister the first time, he didn't include DK Shivakumar in the cabinet.
What was his reason for keeping Shivakumar away at that time?
Well, there were allegations of corruption against him, and Siddaramaiah wanted to give a clean government. That is what the promise he came with. And then finally, it was because of the intervention of the High Command that Siddaramaiah and Roshan Beg came into the cabinet. So there is already a trust deficit between the two. And after what has happened in the last 3-4 days, I'm sure that wounds would have really opened up some more. So now we'll have to see what the cabinet portfolios that DK Shivakumar will get. Because Siddaramaiah has to give it to a lot of other people as well. A lot of seniors have been elected to this assembly, and he has to ensure that MP Patil gets something important, and he has to ensure that Tanveer Seth gets something important. And there are so many people who are waiting to get good, important portfolios. He can't give everything to Shivakumar. So Shivakumar, if he wants to have Bangalore development, I don't think that will happen, because every chief minister has kept Bangalore, because they want to have control over the capital. So, and what is left for him? Maybe water resources. Okay, he might get the water resources, but then he may want, important portfolios for his, supporters as well. So it's going to be a friction from day one, unless DK Shivakumar is able to work out some way as to how these things work out. And then finally, I also have to point out that there are people who have been elected and they will not be able to get, like R.V. Deshpande. He's a 9-time MLA, or Ramalinga Reddy, 8-time MLA. And these are people who are likely to be kept out and told that you please, contest the Lok Sabha election. Because they do need candidates for Lok Sabha elections as well, which is just about 10-11 months away. And some of them will be kept out on that pretext. So,
no, why will they be kept out? Why will the seniors not get a ministerial portfolio, you think?
Because there are so many claimants. And it's not going to be easy for Siddaramaiah to please everyone. And he has to look at the regional representation, he has to look at the caste representation. And when you look at all these things, some of them will have to be left out, and they will be fielded in Lok Sabha.
To the Congress's credit, they've been able to sort out problem number one, which is to get these two to agree to a formula. The second part is now to govern. Ultimately, it's the people's mandate. These 135 seats are for good governance. Can they deliver on that crucial count? The jury's out on that. Let's see what happens. For the time being, I want to thank all our guests for joining us on the Newstrack. Saturday is the big swearing in. We'll keep tracking what happens in Karnataka and its impact on the forthcoming assembly elections. Coming up on the other side of a quick break, the Supreme Court overturns the West Bengal government's ban on the Kerala story. Details on the other. Back in a moment. Stay with us.
two PSBs that the finance minister had announced in the budget in 2021. Are they on the back burner now?
Yes, not very hopeful of the fact if government, that is Ministry of Finance along with Niti Aayog, will get back to the list that they had jotted down, in fact, which also includes the mega 2 privatization of public sector banks, which was also announced by Finance Minister Nirmala Siddaramaiah in 2021 during the union budget, followed by Niti Aayog then drafting a plan of action that would go to DIPAM, but it looks unlikely because top sources in Ministry of Finance have told us that government is not looking to take up bank privatization or privatization of new CPSCs, which is the central public sector entities, until general elections, that is in May 2024.
What's the update on the IDBI Bank sale, Karishma? What's the cause of concern?
In terms of DIPAM, rather, government looks very hopeful and positive. The affirmation stands of the fact that the due diligence is still undergoing. In fact, we are also being told that government is looking to call for the financial bids by September this year. They're looking to at least complete the financial bid process and due diligence and open the data room in the first half of this year, followed by which the transaction could conclude before next March. Let's not forget it's a mega share of 60% that government and LIC together are looking to sell.
What's your longer term strategy on Europe, and is there a trade-off versus focusing more on India and expanding here?
So, Siddharth, the situation in Europe needs to be understood, in a slightly more detailed level, right? You have the Dutch assets, operations in Netherlands, which is 70% of our European footprint, is a pretty strong asset. It has always been cash positive, EBITDA positive, and does not require any support from India. So they can run on their own. Okay, so we are less concerned about that. We've had a couple of bad quarters. We will have one more bad quarter simply because there's a blast furnace relining which is going on there. In Q3, Q4, we were hit by higher energy costs, etc. So, but we are not, worried about the structural, strength of the Dutch operation. It's a sustainable business. It can run on its own. It can transform. The challenge is UK, which is 30% of our footprint there. That's not cash positive. More often than not, it's cash negative. More often than not, it's EBITDA negative. And many of the facilities there, particularly in the upstream, are reaching the end of life. So the clock is ticking on that one. So that's a call we'll have to take during this year or latest by next year. During this year and next year, those assets will come to end of life. And if there is not enough support from the government, we cannot transition to a new process route. The cash flows from the business don't support any more investments than we've made already there. So that's the challenge. To go back to your fundamental question, does this impact our growth in India? The answer is no, because like I said, the growth in India is taken care of by the cash flows in India, which are very strong. And like I said, if the Dutch assets don't need our support, and it's just the UK assets, which is 3 million out of 32 million, it's not as material as it was 10 years back, when it was 10 million out of 25 million.
The Supreme Court has overturned the ban imposed by the Bengal government on the Kerala story. The apex court bench, headed by Chief Justice T.Y. Chandrachud, said, as the film has been certified by the Centre Board, there is no reason for the film to be banned. The bench further ordered the Tamil Nadu government to provide additional security to cinemas which were screening the film. Meanwhile, the filmmakers have also asked to add a disclaimer saying there is no authentic data backing the claim that 32,000 women have converted as a result of love jihad. This is where I wrap up the Newstrack tonight. For your time and your trust, thank you very much. I look forward to seeing you at 8 p.m. tomorrow evening. We're tracking all that's happening in the Congress Legislative Party meeting coming up at 9 p.m. on News Today. Stay with us, back in a moment.
India's economy